Hey guys, PrinceofMacedon here, and I'm playing Men of War Online Battle. I command the USA, and my opponent is miketarsel in command of the Germans. We're playing this on the 1.17.5.1 patch, and this is the Gold Rush map. And lucky for you guys, you have not missed any armored action. Here I'm making a bid for the middle spawn point, because my opponent has fortified this hill with mortars and lots of infantry. So I made this really risky decision to send a Sherman tank up here without any kind of infantry support. And I thought I was going to get the jump on his guys, but it looks like my opponent got the jump on me. And I actually control the spawn point right there, where my tank was going up, but my opponent controls that hill overlooking the spawn point. So I can't really control the spawn point for long if my opponent has that hill under control, because he does have a mortar up there, some snipers, various infantry units, and some rocket guys. So I need to flush those Germans off of that hill. Otherwise, that middle spawn point is not secure. That said, I am controlling most of the spawn points, so my score is going up. I have 232 points, and my opponent has 0 points. Anyways, the only action that you missed was tons and tons of me getting my infantry wasted by my opponent's mortar team. And, but in terms of armored action, you haven't missed anything, so that's a good thing. Anyways, I'm bringing up some assault infantry. Those are my elite infantry. This is my flag point nearest me. And I've got a little garrison, if you can call it that, guarding that last spawn point. But here I'm bringing up my assault infantry, and I'm using the this elite squad here because I want to flush out those the German defenders who are fortifying that hill. Plus, I want to get to that mortar. That mortar is wreaking the most damage on my guys. So I'm going to move my guys up slowly, and you can see a German defender pop out right there. So we gunned him down. That was part of an SMG team. But now my opponent has his mortars firing again. Because once one of his guys spot my guys, then his mortars are pretty deadly. And actually the mortars are deadly accurate in this game, so they're very dangerous. So I just lost a whole clump of my guys. But I'm trying to get my guys closer up the hill, and as I get closer, my opponent still has some infantry who are taking cover behind those rocks. And his said infantry will finish off my guys with grenades. So that little excursion up that hill kind of failed. Back there I have my Hellcat, and I actually have 2 Hellcats and 1 Pershing tank. And typically I'd be using sluggers to replace my Hellcats, but because of my experience a few battles ago with the sluggers, where the sluggers would not fire their main gun, I decided not to use them. So I'll be using Hellcats instead of sluggers. Sluggers are like top of the line tank destroyers. Anyways, my opponent has finished off my infantry, who are protecting the middle spawn point. So now my middle spawn point has no infantry support whatsoever. So I'm going to script the bottom of the barrel. I'm going to take those guys from my bottom flag point, and I'm going to bring them up here. So you can see my opponent is taking command of the middle spawn point. My command of it is down to, like, what, 80%, and he is going up. So there's still 7 minutes left. My opponent can still catch up, even though I'm close to 350, I think, 5 points right now. But he can still catch up. So here are my 2 Hellcats, and I will leave those guys over there until I need them. And right now you can hear my Pershing tank clinking its way forward, and I'm gonna make another bid for the middle spawn point. If you look at the mini-map on the top right, you can see my opponent now has command of 2 spawn points, and I only have command of 1 spawn point. But I'm going to make another bid for that middle spawn point there. I want to flush out that mortar team up there. And I'm going to get some support for my tank, and I'm going to use, I guess, the Greyhound for that purpose. And I will also use some infantry to support those armored units. So this would be a more determined attempt to take the hill. But I know my opponent is making probably nothing but infantry right now, because for the first, what, like 8 or 9 minutes, my opponent has not had any armored units. And a lot of people do play this way. They only make infantry, and that's a pretty good idea if you know what you're doing. But me, myself, I prefer to use a combination of armored and infantry units. So I am bringing up another assault team, and I'm going to try to protect them a little bit better. And I want to keep them away from those mortars that my opponent has sighted on that hill. And I definitely want to take that middle spawn point, but I'm not going to go for that until I take that hill overlooking the spawn point. And this is one of those new maps that came with the new patch. That was 1.17.5. And just a reminder, I am now using 1.17.5.1, so that's even newer than that patch. Alright, so I'm having a little shootout right here, and that match is not going to go my way because my opponent now has his mortars firing. So that's going to fail, but at least it's keeping his guys busy, while I am making an assembly area to the left here, and I'm going to drive up my opponent's flank. And there's my little Greyhound. The Greyhound is just a little armored car, pretty much. But it's pretty fast, and I'm going to use it as a mobile machine gun. And it looks like my Pershing found a infantry unit hiding behind that little hill there. And I'm going to keep my infantry nearby to use their eyes to flush out any German infantry commanded by miketarsel. But yeah, up on that hill, that's where my opponent put a lot of his infantry units. And I'm actually kind of afraid to put my assault infantry up there before my tank because of my opponent's mortar, so I have to lead for the tank. That's a very risky move. But I just took out a German infantry unit, but then my opponent took out the tracks on my Pershing. So my tank is still operational, but it can't move until I repair the tracks on it. But now I'm going to bring up my assault infantry because I have no choice, and I'm also going to bring up my Greyhound. So I am very determined to flush out the infantry on this hill. And it looks like there we smacked my opponent's mortar team, I think. So that's a good thing. And now my guys are swarming this hill. And all I gotta do is rush down the hill in order to take the middle spawn point. And there's my Greyhound. And there's an infantry unit right behind my Greyhound right there. And he just disappeared from view. Because that is the, what do you call it, the fog of war. But there's tons of infantry all over, and one by one I am flushing them out.
Yes, sir.
But I gotta be careful with my tanks and my armored car, because they can easily be disabled in a situation like this. But I'm going to chance it, and I'm going to leave them without any infantry support, and I'm going to take the middle spawn point. So my opponent is catching up on the score, but there's only 3 minutes left, and I am now retaking the middle spawn point. So I want to ensure that my opponent does not catch up to me on score. And there I lost my Greyhound armored car. But remember, this is battle zones, so in order to win battle zones, you have to command the flag points longer than your opponent does. And that's the strategy here. It's not so much to win the tactical battle as it is to win the strategic battle in controlling the flag points. So you can see some German infantry crawling around my tanks. And now I'm desperate. I'm going to bring up every infantry unit I can scrape, and I'm going to rush them up the hill. But you can see my score is going up now. So there's really no chance my opponent can catch up. Even if he takes the middle spawn point right about now, I don't think he can catch up with only 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. So now I'm going to bring up more of my armor units. These are my tank destroyers now, my Hellcats. But at this point, I can't really afford any more units, except for maybe some tank crew, because my opponent has destroyed a lot of my armored units. So now I have to use the forces that I have left. So you are limited, and that's a good thing, because otherwise this would be mindless. But I'm going to bring up my Hellcat up this side of the hill, and hopefully catch my opponent's troops by surprise, but unfortunately my Hellcat was the one who was surprised, so I lost another armored unit there. So already I've lost 3 armored units, and my opponent is accomplishing this with pure infantry. But yeah, a lot of good players fight like that. And yeah, I do have 2 spawn points now. There's 1 minute and 38 seconds left, and I do have command of this middle hill now. So I pretty much have control of this battle. Now I'm going to flush out the remaining troops on this hill. And right there is a German infantryman, and he killed my first guy, who was part of my assault team. But I got more infantry right behind, so I can easily take out that guy right there trying to ambush my dudes. And there's no telling what kind of troops my opponent has still, so I'm going to be a little bit careful. And right there, the sniper trying to run away from my guys. And if I leave him with that much distance, that'll give his sniper the advantage. So I'm going to rush my guys forward here and close the distance, and I'm going to use a bit of micromanagement in order to take out that sniper. So I'm going to use a 3-man team here, and I'm going to advance my 3-man team using basic infantry tactics, using fire and cover here.
Yes, sir.
So I got one guy going way up there. Sucks to be that guy, but I got guys behind who can use their overbounding watch to take out the sniper if he shows his head. And there's the sniper. He appears, and my guy behind takes him out. Actually, the guy with the grenade took him out. But I'm going to fortify those rocks with my 3-man team. And right there, another German infantryman has appeared. And my guy in the very back threw a grenade, but he also threw a grenade too, so he took out my guy. But with my grenade, I take him out. And look in the background, you can see it. My opponent brought out an elephant unit, and that's the first armored unit that my opponent brought out. And there's only 3 seconds left, so I killed his guy, and then he killed my guy. So I won the battle on score, but my opponent fought a very good battle. He killed more of my guys, and vice versa. Good game to my opponent.